Good evening and thanks for joining us. Former presidents and first ladies joined mourners at the funeral of former First Lady Barbara Bush today in Houston, Texas. Mrs. Bush died Tuesday at the age of 92. This morning, her husband of 73 years, former President George H.W. Bush, arrived in a wheelchair, attended to by their son, former President George W. Bush. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and former First Ladies Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, and Hillary Clinton attended the service at St. Martin's Episcopal Church, along with current First Lady Melania Trump. According to a White House statement, President Trump did not attend to avoid disruptions due to added security. But the president did tweet a photo of the former First Lady's White House portrait, saying, quote, "Today my thoughts and prayers are with the entire Bush family." Mrs. Bush's twin granddaughters participated in the service, and she chose her close friend, Susan Baker, historian John Meacham, and her son Jeb to deliver the eulogies. The former Florida governor remembered his mother as strict, but with a sense of humor.
Mom got us through our difficult times with consistent, take it to the bank, unconditional, but tough love. She called her style a benevolent dictatorship, but honestly, it wasn't always benevolent.
Barbara.
Susan Baker, wife of former Secretary of State James Baker and a personal friend, recalled the First Lady's passion for books and literacy.
The world respects Barbara Bush's deep passion and great effectiveness in equipping those who cannot read with the skill to do so. We all celebrate her vision and tenacious dedication to literacy.
And author John Meacham, who wrote a 2015 biography of George H.W. Bush, reminded the world of Barbara Bush's place in history.
And as the wife of one president and the mother of another, she holds a distinction that belongs to only one other American in the long history of the Republic, Abigail Adams, who was present at the creation.
In a private ceremony, Mrs. Bush was buried at the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library in College Station, Texas, next to her daughter Robin, who died from leukemia in 1953 at age 3. For more on the life of Barbara Bush, I'm joined from Houston by Mary Kate Carey, a former speechwriter for President George H.W. Bush and executive producer of 41 on 41, a documentary about his life. Thanks for joining us. You're just coming from the funeral this afternoon. What was it like?
It was really a spectacular send-off for her. Everybody had their Barbara Bush pearls on, like I do, and it was just a joyful celebration of a great, great life. It was plenty of celebrities, all kinds of people from, Chrissy Everett and Phil Mickelson, and world leaders, John Major and Brian Mulroney, people like that. But then also the home health aides and all of the women who were Mrs. Bush's personal aides over the years were all right up front with all the famous and powerful people, which tells you volumes. All the altar servers on the altar were females. You saw her young granddaughters reading from Proverbs. You saw the grandsons as pallbearers. And so it was a great statement that she made. She made a lot of the choices for the funeral herself, and it really came through that her touch was there because it was all about the next generation and just the joy of living a faithful life.
You work closely with the president, but you got to know both of them quite well. How did your friendship develop?
So I first met Barbara Bush right after we left office. I was writing speeches for the president for his post-presidential speaking tour. And I went up to Walker's Point for a day to work on speeches with some of the other writers. And President Bush surprised us and announced that we were all going to go for a swim in the ocean. And when we all said, sir, we didn't bring our bathing suits, he gave the guys his bathing suits. He had some spares. And he had me put on Mrs. Bush's bathing suit. And in we went. And it was a very cold day in May, or June, I guess it was. And in Maine, that is some cold water. So that's how I first met her, as she found me in her bathing suit going towards the ocean, and I had to explain what I was doing in it. And so I told her that her husband had loaned it to me. I didn't just go into her closet and help myself.
Yeah.
And she was unfailingly graceful to me ever after that. She was always very kind. Jeb was making jokes today about the benevolent dictator. And I never saw that side of her. She was always very, very kind to me.
Yeah.
So I treasure her friendship.
What's her legacy going to be? As you mentioned, there were other world leaders that came for her funeral. I mean, this is a send-off that you could say was worthy of a president.
Yeah, it was remarkable. I think she'll be remembered for her deep faith and her compassion. The stories that were told today did not surprise me one bit. I've heard them for years about all of the kind things she has done. For example, when they were running for Senate in 1964, I think it was, when President Bush was running for Senate, there was a campaign volunteer who arrived. He worked the night shift in a 7-Eleven and then worked the days at the campaign. And he was half deaf and an orphan with no family. He was in his 20s, and the Bushes took him in as their own and kept him on their family payroll till he died in his 70s a few years ago. And it was this generous gesture of theirs to open their family to him, and yet they never talked about it, they never bragged about it. So many times like that. There's so many stories, but never from the Bushes. They would never talk about it themselves. So that's the kind of thing that I think people will remember, because it's so unusual. Yeah. There was one line that Susan Baker said, that she felt that Barbara Bush felt the greatest yardstick of your success in life is how you treat others. And boy, we could use more of that in the world today. I think that's what she'll be remembered for.
All right, Mary Kate Carey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.